Game 6, 0-2 breakdowns versus the 2-0 Rippers, last game of the regular season. Let's get right into it. Here are the teams, and I think the biggest storyline is Lucas Daversa. Is he worth that number 1 overall pick? And then as well as Joe's McFly. Can he find out what to do? Because to be honest, every team, even the weakest players, have found a place for themselves, a style, a strategy that is starting to make them one of the best performing in terms of efficiency out of everyone in the tournament. Joe is the only one that isn't doing a good job. Debatably, the blue team altogether is not doing a very good job at all. And we saw that not really in this game because they held it together. First half they were down by 2 points, and then they ended the game down by 4, so keeping that margin pretty good. So they didn't fall apart by any means, but there are just so many situations where, if you just watch back the tape and look and really talk to each other, it's like, what are we doing? We should have been doing this and that and the other thing. And I think when you place a game like the Rippers, they are just so good at passing the ball and finding openings, but we'll get into that in a little bit. Let's talk about the stats. Here are the stats. If you want to pause it and take a close look, go ahead. I have more slides going closer look at more important data that I think is better to kind of showcase the game. But the efficiency is the most interesting part about this because, this wasn't their best game. But when you look at someone like BBD who, put 8 slaps on the ball and scored half of those, and then got a one transition goal. Really good performance. But then you look at Zoe. Zoe in the first half was really starting to figure some stuff out. He got some assists, got 3 slaps, 1 went in. He kind of got targeted. No, he didn't get targeted. But 21, Luke kind of came in, tried to help out, did 3 shots, tried to slap the ball 4 times, ended up scoring 2. Jack ended up scoring 1, so it's a very low scoring game, but when you watch them, you saw them pass a lot. And the numbers reflect it. 24, 28, 30, 14 versus 25, 3, 14. My goodness. Just a complete passing difference there. So let's look at their offensive evaluation is sort of what I'm calling it. So it's essentially just if you score, it's times 2 minus your attempts. So if you go 50%, that's a 0. Anything below 50, that's when you start getting to the negatives. And the more positive your ratio above 50, the bigger the number you'll get. So the only person that went positive was BBD because he got 1 solid throw in, but he went 4 and 8 for slaps. But, Zoe with just a -1, 21, Luke, -3, right? And then you have their captain, -7, trying to make stuff happen, especially in the second half. And I think the second half is just frustration for the Rippers because, the blue team was just doing pretty good on defense. Offense is where they struggle, and you could see that, where Jimmy is just -6, 7, -4, 54, -2, 5, -3, right? Like there's not a lot of positive numbers in this cell, in this box, in this evaluation, right? They are all pushing negatives, and I think the captain's partly to blame. I think 54 could be doing a lot better. I think number 7 is really just sleeping on the job, and we'll talk about that here in a second. But then here are the assists. And I just made these graphs just to show how devastating of a margin difference that the yellow team is passing versus the blue team, right? Jimmy wants to speed up the game, but the Rippers are slowing it down, but they don't make it feel like it's slowed down, right? They're passing the ball, making the defense shift ever so slightly every pass, and it's stressing them out to the point where you just break and there's a huge opening for one player and they just get the ball there for them. And that's why there's so many passes. It's a whole team is involved. But when you look at the blue team, it's so obvious that 754 are either blowing their attempts or they're just not really working with the team to try to get the best opportunity. Low scoring games are fine if every shot counts. I just don't think the blue team is making every shot count. And I think rushing isn't very good. Then we look at the saves, and yes, number 7 has 12 saves. Very good. Trying to keep them in the game. That doesn't, but I think overall the defense needs some work. There's so many shots that the blue team threw that didn't even need to be saved. And I think that is the worst part about this is, BBD only had 7 saves. But to be honest, those were only because they were shots on goal. The 12 saves that Diversa had to make, were 12 saves that were going to go in, pretty much. And so it's scary that there was 9 more that didn't go in. But hey, who am I to say, right? Like, it's just a crazy game. And so here is just generally how the Rippers. Oh, I put the Reapers. That's so funny. Inside joke. I keep thinking they're the Reapers, not the Rippers, because they don't throw the ball. So, this is their formation. Is the blue is playing tight with one. I don't know. You could say that you have 3 playing slap defense, 1 playing throw defense, and you have the opposite for the Rippers, right? You have 3 playing out, 1 playing in, and it's just, this is what happens. It's like this, right? So 54 is on the opposite side of the play. 7-14 are leaning towards the ball, trying to really block it. 45 is just completely open, and so you think, okay, they're not going to get a shot. But the thing is that the blue team would take a shot like this, right? They're like, oh, okay, let's just reset. But the yellow team, what they do is they just move everyone over. And what I think is interesting is 5 is protecting the throw. 77 is just being tracked by the 2 guys that aren't really moving. So he throws the ball to 0. 0 moves, 7 comes over, and this is their 3-second pass. Just boom, 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 hits. And number 7 is just going back and forth, right? 14's confused. 5 is not even doing anything. 54 thinking he's trying to stop Zoe, but instead he goes far and leaves BBD open. Like, this is just textbook, in my opinion. Like, this should just be a standard play that everyone is trying to do. If you're not playing like diamond formation, full zone, just protecting every corner of the goal, then this should be what's happening to you, right? Like, this should be what teams are aiming to do, is just spread people out. So it's crazy that the Rippers are just doing this, right? The breakdowns, like, this is their best performance game so far, in my opinion, and they're holding it up, like, despite these little occurrences. So here's them on offense, right? Because I think there's so much to gain on offense. And this is them just starting the game. So this is like fresh. They should know what they should be doing. And I have to ask, why the fuck is 76 not right here? Why is he not building the square to give 5 options? Because he could literally pitch it. 5 could pitch to 7, and it's a solid attempt, right? Maybe it won't go in, but it's such a great attempt. You have 2 guys blocking Joe, and then you have the captain, Jimmy, just completely out of the play, right? 77 is completely blocking. Unless Jimmy goes into the hallway and just causes complete chaos, there's not a lot that anyone can do. So in all reality, 76 needs to get into offense more, right? I don't think throwing is the way to go. The Rippers are proving that. So here's another one where I just don't understand what you're doing. Like, you want to throw the ball. There's a Shady Ray square right here that no one is paying attention to you, not a single person. Why don't you just run there? Joe's fakes, throws it to you, you instantly bounce that in. That's an easy goal. That's going to put you up 2-1, right? But instead, you have 5 just completely isolated in the corner. You have Jimmy just playing with every defender, and then Joe is just trying to get rid of the ball, trying to do something. Like, this is the issue, is you guys, this team needs to stop playing like this. It's just clumped. This is the advantage of the defense. Like, even this pass is so risky because Zoe could realistically try to reach this and could even fight for it. He can't jump for it, but still. And everyone's just waiting for them to just give a half-fast attempt that they normally do. So here's another one. Okay, it's 2-2. Okay, Joe is out, which is fine, right? He has him he has number 00 completely blocked, right? 21 is playing to the strong side. And I say strong side because 7 is literally out of it. Just run up, right? Because both of these guys can easily pass you. 21 can't do anything, and BBD is playing dead middle. And so, you can play whichever one, right? It's a soccer penalty kick at that point, right? And even if you have to catch it, you can self-slap it in before 21 can react, right? It'll be tight, but it's definitely worth trying. And so I'm picking on 7 because he is the number 1 overall pick, right? And we talk about the weight, right? But this is the issue, right? I don't care what your game plan is get in there. Any player should be doing this, right? And I'm sick of this because I feel like the Freezers have the same issue with their captain. I respect Jimmy for trying to be involved, trying to get something going, right? But just like with Shelly needs to get involved in offense. You can't be a pure defensive player to try to beat the Rippers. And so here's the, what is this, right after? Yeah, look at this. Look at this. So Jimmy actually ends up going deep, right? They go pass. He puts himself in this horrible situation. Why are you not here? Why is Jimmy not trying to pass in the ball here, right? Even if he just throws it to you. This is just a better overall shot. Number 5 is probably just trying to get around. But this is the kind of crap. This is such a low percentage shot that you should never be going for, right? And this is why the Rippers are so good. Is because they're no, it's not that good. Let's just pass 3 more times. And you get a score. And they're even right now. They're even. In 2 minutes after this, the score goes from 2-2 to 5-3. That is how fast this game can be played. That is crazy. And it's plays like this that really just kills the breakdowns because you're just throwing away the ball. That's all I got. If you're still around, let me know what you think of the game. Also, stay tuned for the next video that will be the general season stats, and we're going to find out who's the best player, who's the worst player, all that good stuff. Catch you out next time. Peace.